Okay, let's bring him in. The crew from I was going to say the West Utica Senior Center. It looks like Gloria Vescera. She's the secretary and acting treasurer. And Patty Majka, who is a 15-year board member over at the West Side Senior Center. I never knew where that location was until all the construction was going on. And then as you leave the brewery or you leave the Boilermaker office, you drive by, and right there it is, the West Side Senior Center. Andrew's making his
space,
getting everybody out of the way.
Inhabitable for others.
Jim is accompanying them in case he has to pull out a karate move on us or something. You never know. Guys, both just grab microphones, and no, you're going to do the talking, Jim. Well, we'll start with you, James. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys doing this morning?
So
it's Friday.
Is in this on this day is the West Utica Senior Center going to basically go after Anthony Brindisi for money that has not been delivered? Is that what we're going to talk about here?
We are going to ask for the money today, like we have been asking pretty much on a monthly basis. The best thing to do, I think, Bill, is you had the discussion with Mr. Brindisi, the assemblyman, about.
Let's start. Can I give the give the background?
That'll
first?
be good. That's
so
perfect.
You prompted an email earlier in the week that said. It was critical of the assemblyman who's running for Congress. No secret here.
But you know what triggered it? The trigger was that ceremonial check that was given to the senior center in Whitestown. That's what really got me going.
So you got upset when you became upset when you saw that happening.
Not that they received the grant, just the fact that he was presenting that same check he presented to us.
Okay, you're saying he presented that to us at the West Side Senior Center, but we never got the money.
Right.
In 2015.
In 2015. Understood.
Yeah.
So I then reached out to the assemblyman and said, this is what's being charged. What happened here? Could you give us some background? The response I received back from the assemblyman's office was that we initiated that, and because they were behind on their workman's comp, that's true, right? Because they were behind, the state would not issue the money.
Correct.
So he said, I began working with them in order to clear up the workman's comp situation.
Okay. Are we ready to? We'll go through this whole time.
Do you agree with my setup here?
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
yeah. We do agree with that.
Right.
But that was a number of years ago. But actually, Gloria, you want to read the?
This is a Gloria Vescera.
The timeline, and then we'll get into all of that. Yeah.
Okay. During the summer of 2015. Assemblyman Brindisi visited the West Side Senior Community Center during a function and announced to the members he had acquired a $5,000 state grant for the facility.
Okay.
Can
I just ask you a question?
Yes.
You're not going to read that whole thing, are you?
We'll go through it real quick.
It's quick.
Yeah. Well, it looks long to me.
But, no, it's not. But it's important. It's all the time.
I'd just rather have you tell the story.
All right. Well,
it.
During the next few weeks, we kept calling Brindisi office about the grant check. The answer said it would be soon. Then in 2016, members asked to meet with the assemblyman. Meeting there at the office, the assemblyman informed the group that problem existed with the state regarding workmen's compensation matter, that the previous board had failed to address, and that was the reason for the delay. The new board quickly got it resolved. We took care of it.
Okay. How quickly is quickly?
By March of 2016.
Okay. All right.
March 21st. Mm-hmm. And we have the paperwork.
2016, the matter was resolved.
It was resolved.
Okay. Board. Correct.
Okay.
With the help of our attorney at the time, Mark
Wolber.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still helping us on occasion.
One of our favorite attorneys in the world.
And at that point, Frank...
I'm just saying it.
At that point, Frank had also hand-delivered this down to his office.
Okay. To
Instead
whose
of going
office?
To
the assemblyman's?
Mr. Brindisi's office.
All right.
After that, before every meeting, the office was called to find out if the check had been sent, so we could report at the meeting.
Sure. And $5,000 being a lot of money for the West Side Senior.
For us, yes, because we worked very hard.
Maybe for others not, but for us, it is a very important.
Chump change for me, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
Chump change.
Yeah.
However, by the end of 2016, he informed the board that his hands were tied. He said the funds were assigned, and as soon as the governor signed off, the check would be sent.
All right.
Throughout 2017, a number of calls were made by the board to the Assemblyman's office asking for updates. Yeah. Not once during all those times that anybody had gone down there was the workman's compensation issue brought up again.
Right.
Okay,
Never.
So that's over with.
No, that was long over with. Right.
Okay, Jim, you want to?
Yeah, and not once did the Assemblyman or anyone on his staff who took the calls for the last 2 years mention anything about the resurfacing of the workers' comp, as Gloria said, the workers' compensation problem. As a current West Side Senior Center board member, I have had the opportunity to work with a dedicated group of folks, as you see here.
Yeah.
Hard work, all volunteers, because we don't have a paid staff anymore, and we haven't for a while, and that's why we don't have to worry about the workers' comp. This $5,000 grant was promised to the center years ago, but has never come through. Even contrary to the recent remarks made by Assemblyman Brindisi, all necessary paperwork was submitted to his office long ago. At this point, many people feel at least an apology by the Assemblyman would be helpful if we're not going to get the grant.
But wouldn't you say, though, that and I'm not going to try to defend the Assemblyman. I'll let him handle that on his own. We're trying to get him. Yeah. But wouldn't you say that the minute, I hate to say and Jim, you're in politics and been in government, you understand how these things work. So you go for a grant, you have everything all set, the money ends up being, the whole process gets tripped up because there's a problem. Turns out the workman's comp situation is a problem. Right. Almost always, you would probably have to go and file again for that money all over again. I don't know the answer to that, but
that's
so the question would be, but knowing that you are on the Claudia Tenney team, let's just be fair. Would it be possible that you didn't work as hard to go to the Assemblyman to get this resolved because it gives you something to complain about?
This was,
in fairness.
Well, in fairness, this issue has been going on for how many years?
Well,
still?
I understand, but
this is well before anybody was running against anyone.
It wasn't until 2000
because of the situation.
It wasn't until 2016 that it was so that situation was resolved. So what happened then? Did you go back to the Assemblyman and say, how did you sit down with him and say, how do we get this resolved? How can we get this money back?
They did that every month on a monthly basis, and we were never told that there was any. Yes, every month. Every month, our minutes have that in there. I'm just going to give you that. So you can see
okay.
But,
that's your workers' comp stuff?
Yep.
Okay.
Bill, and I've done my research, too. When
you do your research.
A lot of the folks in the board come to me because I was an elected official. Same thing with Frank Vescera. He was a past elected official that was very friendly to the West Side Senior Center. Yeah. And I really support this bunch of people. This is the oldest senior center in Oneida County, and it's been disrespected for many, many years. City of Utica hasn't given a nickel. They in this part of this grant, we were going to have a horticultural program outside in the inner city, and we were going to tie in with the Boilermaker folks.
Yeah.
And,
in a lot that we purchased ourselves.
The city did not give the land to the senior center. They had to purchase it, and they have given land to others many times for nothing.
Do you think the treatment that you guys receive has anything to do with politics? Your politics? I do.
Yeah. I really do, and it's too bad because the center has serviced West Utica faithfully for many years and taken care of. I'd like Patty to tell a little story about the senior center and recently.
Patty doesn't want to talk. She's giving it to you. She's giving you the floor.
Tell a story about some of the folks that are coming back now. Now that the arterial project's over, folks are starting to utilize the center. We have the boxing program next door. Yeah. We did our part with this grant. We said we were going to have an intergenerational.
We're also doing blood drives now.
Yeah.
Blood drives with
and you're Frank Vescera's wife. You are. But do you think the politics removed, like if you were to take a Patty Majka, who's a board member, and that's Patty over there, if Patty were the lead on this, to remove some of the political tension, do you think
because we have other board members the ones that are going down there to his office.
Okay, and I'm not just talking about but I'm not just talking about the assemblyman. I'm also talking about the city of Utica.
Well, that's
politics.
not fair,
I'm not saying
it
it's
isn't fair.
No,
but you know what, Bill? I'm glad
I'm not saying it's fair.
I removed myself from that.
Yeah.
I said I'll do whatever I can, but Patty and others were the ones that really were the ones trying to negotiate.
Yeah.
There was a CDBG grant a while back. That wasn't moving along. I'm very familiar with that. I was on the board. I dealt with that. I got that resolved. That was about 4 years ago.
Yep.
We haven't asked for a nickel of the CDBG funding since then, the new board.
And as a side note, Frank is no longer on the board.
Correct.
He is not?
No longer.
he's
I
not.
did not know that.
No, I am the only one left of elected officials.
The document here says, this is dated, as you said, March 21st, 2016. It looks like it's from the Workers' Compensation Bureau of Compliance, New York State. Based on new information received by the Workers' Comp Board, the following penalty made against the West Side Senior Center is rescinded. Original balance $11,000, new balance $0. You should have gotten this money by now, and I don't know.
And
what
also, I have this. We just got this in.
We're coming up on 2 years.
October
here
of
17.
We just got another one because for some reason they're not understanding we have no employees.
Right.
We've got a new one. I filled out the necessary paperwork, sent it in, and I have November 17, 2017. We owe nothing.
All right.
It's canceled.
Over a year ago, when they asked me to really start looking into this because of my experience with government, like you said, Bill, I said, well, I do remember other senior centers getting that same invisible ink check, I guess you want to call it, disappearing ink check. So I did contact the Rome Senior Center. And as of last year, they were about a year prior to us applying for a grant. It was about $7,500 grant for a heating system, I believe, or air conditioning. And I talked to them last year. The person that was in charge there last year said we still did not receive our check either early last year. With all this going on, I contacted the new director, and she said they finally received a check at the end of last year.
All right.
So they finally got their check.
All right.
We have not heard anything, and now we're hearing that it's back to this craziness with the.
But you realize that's very typical of New York State.
It's
not
this
awful.
long, though, Bill.
I'm not
This
talking about
is
the
too
money.
long.
I'm not talking about. I'm talking about the paperwork you're showing right there.
No, we understand
Anybody
that.
who's had a business,
Yeah.
that
And you apply for
you
grants.
get stuck, not even without the grants on this workers' comp
And
thing.
it's very understandable. But this was not right to say that it was because of our workman's compensation.
Right.
Well, it
Putting
sounds
the
like there
blame-
was an error on the state's behalf, and
Yes,
they have
it was.
corrected it. And we're coming up on
So-
2 years now. It's been corrected.
So all I can say to you is, I'll let you come on and say your piece. We'll grab the assemblyman. He is unavailable now because there's a big breakfast going on. Apparently, this all the local political leaders are at this breakfast today.
Oh, yeah.
So
The Genesis group.
next week we'll dig in to this, and I promise you we'll try to get an answer
Well,
for
tell
you.
Mr. Brindisi that we would really appreciate the money. We
All
could
right.
really use it.
It's a small amount of money. We're not asking for a lot. The board is running this facility. We just got our heating and electric bill, $1,000.
Yeah, this year's been awful, hasn't it?
So it's been awful, and we really could use that money for programming.
And we're in the
not worry
black
about
now for the
utilities.
first time in a long time. We're
Yeah,
in the
the
black.
West
And the
Side
facility looks like it's looking pretty nice over there. You got
Cleaned it up a lot.
The whole area has cleaned up over there since the arterial
Absolutely.
project. And are you happy with are all said and done? Are you happy with the arterial project?
This
You
is
had
from
to-
Patty.
I'm not gonna-
Hi, Patty.
Patty's coming in.
You have 30 seconds, Patty.
I have 30 seconds. Okay, all I can say is that I have been on the board and at the center 14 years.
Yeah.
I have seen ups and downs, and I am very happy to say I am on the board and seeing the positive growth that we are turning around.
Yeah. And the whole neighborhood seems to be turning around.
The whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
Recently, just the other day,
I hate to do this, but I'm almost out of time. You got like 10
we had
seconds.
a potluck. 90, 78-year-old ladies were together. They were happy, smiling.
That's awesome.
We need to bring it back.
Good. You guys do good things. We promise you we'll look into this for you, okay?
Thank you.
Help us with a fundraiser, Bill.
I told you I would do that a long time ago. You never took advantage of it, but I will help you. I got a break.